Hi everyone, this is CricketSong with Inner Wisdom, and this is going to be another tarot spreads video. This week we're looking at removing the obstacle. This tarot spread video, Removing the Obstacle, can be found in this book, Illustrated Tarot Spreads by Filner and Schreiner. It is found on page 25, Removing the Obstacle. However, I want to show you that because of my space restriction, what they have is they have one card here and then 6 cards in a line on either side. The whole spread is 14 cards. What I've done is I've done 2 rows of 3. So this is still card number 1, but then I did 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 with the 14th card here. So that's how I did it, only because I don't have a lot of, the camera angle and the space on the table, it would be difficult. I could do it, and if I were doing it on my own, not recording it, I would probably spread it out this way, but because I'm showing you, it would be difficult to do. So, removing the obstacle. So, the first card here is the ego or the problem. The second card here, the boundaries, the fear, the denial. Now we would continue down the row if we were doing it in the book. This is the inability, the desire or lust, the feeling of inferiority. This is card 8, the vision, the initiative, the tolerance. Card 11, the willpower, the modesty, the self-confidence. And the last card is the solution. So this is what we're looking at for the spread. Let's interpret the spread. And the cards I'm using right now is the Rider-Waite, and then I'll show you the spread in using the Green Witch Tarot. But we'll do that after we do this. Okay, so let's flip over the card. Card number 1, again, that was the ego or the problem. We have the boundaries, the fear, the denial, the inability, the desire or lust, the feeling of inferiority, the vision, the initiative, the tolerance, the willpower, the modesty, the self-confidence, and the solution. Okay, very colorful. Okay, so the first card is the Ace of Pentacles reversed, and this is the ego or the problem. So I would look at this and I'd say, well, their ego or their problem is the lack of stability. It could be the lack of a job, lack of income if we're looking at wealth. If we're looking at in a relationship, it's the lack of stability in the relationship. Maybe they date a lot, but they don't have any stability. That's if we're looking at romantic relationship. If we're looking at just relationships in general, like family, friends, again, I'd say a lack of stability. This would tell me that someone, this person doesn't have a lot of people who stick around in their lives. Their friendships may be very surface or casual. Their relationships don't really have depth. Maybe they have a lot of flaky friends. Maybe they are a flake. So we're looking at the lack of stability, the lack of flowing stability, things that are in their life or have come into their life that are strong. So that's what I would say, lack of stability in whatever we're looking at. And it could be a lack of stability in their life in general, just in everything. Card number 2 is the boundaries. And this suggests to me that they have no boundaries, that maybe they have things like if they have money, they're giving it away. or they have, they're giving away their power, they're giving away their stability, they're being generous, which can be a positive thing, but if they feel like they don't have the money, then they're giving it away, or they're, you know, paying out unrealized fees or memberships or something like that. If they're talking about, you know, in their relationships, they feel like they don't have stable relationships. Maybe they're the one that isn't giving in that relationship. They're not being intimate. So they're not giving, so they're not getting it back. So they don't have boundaries is what I would suggest by seeing the Six of Pentacles in this position. The next card is the fear. So the Seven of Swords talks to me, they're afraid of people taking from them. They're afraid of people, you know, stealing something, whether it's stealing money or possessions, if we're talking about finances here, or maybe they're afraid of people hurting them, stealing their boyfriend, stealing their girlfriend, stealing their love, stealing their affection. And that may be why they have no boundaries. So they'd rather give it away without, you know, without expectation or without any idea, and maybe that's why they have no stability, because of this fear. Card number 4 is the denial, and when I see court cards, this is the Knight of Cups. When I see court cards, personally, I look to this as a personality in this person's life. So this could be a reflection of themselves. Maybe they deny, they're in denial that they are this person. And for me, the Knight of Cups represents someone who is unwilling to make commitments. Someone who is, you know, they look like a prince in shining armor, but the armor is hollow, meaning that it's all surface. There's no deep emotional connection. This person doesn't like to make commitments. They don't like to get involved. So this would tell me that this is probably, they're in denial that this is them, that they don't realize, they don't know themselves as well as they think they do. And that's how I would read that card. So card number 6, this one up here, I'm sorry, card number 5, this is the inability. And the Five of Wands talks to me about coming to find conflict resolution, making compromises. This is someone who looks for compatibility, and they try to resolve issues, conflict resolution. This is the inability. This individual would tell me this particular person has recognizes conflicts, recognizes that there are different points of view, but they don't know how to resolve this. They have an inability to do that. They're not a good mediator. It's hard for them to see the other perspective. They have difficulty finding commonality. All they see is differences, and it's hard for them to come to a resolution or a compromise. They have an inability to do so. Card number 6 is the desire or lust. This is what they want. This is what they're working towards. And when I see the 6 of Cups, this suggests to me that they want it to go back to the way it was. You know, they don't want to have responsibilities. They don't. They want that joy of their past. They're very nostalgic, and they want to be maybe a kid again. They want to be carefree. They want to be able to just love who they want to love and feel all the joy without all the conflict. It's almost like they don't want to grow up. They always want to be a child and an immature individual, because then there's no struggles. Things are done for them. And that's what they're looking for. They're looking maybe for someone to take care of them, for someone to take over their responsibilities. They don't want that. Card number 7 is the feeling of inferiority, and this is the Judgment card reversed. So this would tell me that they feel very inferior in regards to maybe other people's criticisms. They feel as if everybody is always judging them, that they can't meet expectations, that they are unable, you know, to fulfill things, requirements, responsibilities, expectations, and they feel immature. They feel like a child in a grown-up world. Card number 8 is the World. And this is the vision, the place of the vision. And if we take note that this is a major arcana card along with the judgment card, which was card number 7. So we have card number 7 is a major arcana card. Card number 8 is a major arcana card. And card number 11 is a major arcana card along with the solution. But the 3 that are in the base of the reading, as opposed to the problem and the solution, these 3 are reversed, which tells me that this person has a very negative perspective of self. And these 3 points are the points that would need the most attention, the points that hold the most shadows. And they are the feeling of inferiority, the vision, and the willpower, which tells me that this person obviously feels very challenged. So the vision is the world, but it's reversed, and this tells me that this person wants to feel empowered, wants to be able to manifest whatever they want to sort of feel as if the world is in their hands. But it's reversed, which tells me that they feel as if they can't have that. This tells me that they feel like they're incapable of having the world in their hands. Like I said with the judgment card, it feels as if they feel like a child in an adult world and they can't meet the expectations. So we would need to sort of switch the vision. We want them to envision that they have this already, instead of looking at it as they don't have this, because we're coming from a place of lacking when we look at it that way, and that will not help us in manifesting what we want. The next card is the initiative, and that's the 8 of Pentacles. And the initiative here tells me that this person is willing to do the work, put in the effort, put in the time, that they're willing to work at whatever needs to be done in order for them to get what they want, in order for them to overcome this obstacle. They're willing and able to put the time, effort, and work into that. That is their initiative. Number 10 is the tolerance. 10? Yes, 10. That is the 10 of Swords, reversed. So this is usually the martyr card. And this is usually saying that they would put themselves before anyone else in order to sort of like self-sacrificing for other people, an altruistic action. So this tells me, because it's reversed, this is telling me that the person here, their tolerance is that they tolerate, or in themselves and in other people, that sort of characteristic in someone. They understand the desire to sort of offer themselves or sacrifice themselves for other people, but because it's not upright, this tells me that they may tolerate that within other people, but the actual actions they do not tolerate, meaning they're intolerant of it. So this is almost like a double negative when we're talking. So they're willing to tolerate that characteristic in people, but when it's put in action, they have no tolerance for that. So they recognize it in themselves, they recognize it in other people, but they are unwilling to accept or work with someone who does sort of that kind of activity. That they, and it's probably this idea that they see in themselves the willingness to give and give and give and give, but when they're faced with it, they have difficulty in accepting it in others. The next card, which is the willpower, is strength, reversed. So this tells me that this person feels that they don't have strength. They don't have a very strong willpower. They may easily give in to other people's ideas or desires, which goes hand in hand with the feeling that they have a lack of boundary. They're always giving. So this makes sense. They don't feel like they have willpower, and that would be something that you would, if I would encourage them to work on in some way. Card number 12 is the modesty, which is 10 of Cups reversed, which tells me that they are very sensitive, they're very giving, but it's reversed, which tells them that tells me they're drained and they're depleted. That if they've been energized, that they'd be a very giving and sensitive person, but right now they're very drained, so they may come across as being very cold or disconnected or emotionally unavailable because they're very drained, and they won't celebrate their accomplishments because they're very modest. They're very sort of self-deprecating, and that is because of, you know, the lack of willpower and all these other things that we see. Card number 13 is the self-confidence card. This is the 10 of Wands, and this tells me that this person is very confident in taking on responsibilities, and they're very confident in taking on burdens of others, which again makes sense because then they're feeling very drained and very depleted. So while they're very willing to do this, I feel like all this comes from a place of fear, a place of lacking, which is where this obstacle is. So if they feel like they can't get to what they want in their life, it's because they're constantly serving others and have overlooked themselves. So then what is the solution? The card is the Lover's card, which is the number 6, the Major Arcana card. And this talks to me about finding sort of that perfect vibrational match. Not necessarily, you know, a person, unless we're talking about romance, you know. So if we're looking at this in a very financial sense, then they need to find a perfect vibrational match in a career or a job, looking at their own characteristics. If they are finding it difficult to find a job, maybe they're looking at the wrong things. Maybe they're coming at it from a place of lack and fear. And so then they're just grabbing at positions that they think are good, or positions that other people are suggesting other people think is a good fit for them when they're really not looking at themselves. I would also suggest that this person is a very sensitive person, a very emotional person, so maybe working with those types of jobs and maybe not so much analytical or mental jobs. But that's how I would look at this. Let's do a comparison with the Green Witch Tarot cards here. So I have them sort of backwards, so we're just going to place them in reverse order so we can just see if anything would change in regards to the reading. Looking at it from this perspective. I guess we'll just put this one here. The World. Judgments. Some of these don't change at all, as you've seen in the past if you've watched any of my other videos when we're looking at it, and some change greatly. So coming from the Ace of Pentacles, I would not read that any differently. That was the first card. The second card I would not read differently either. The third card, yeah, I would read this a little differently. Where I read this in the Rider-Waite, I read it as sort of like someone stealing things from them. I would look at this as someone hesitant in moving forward because of fear of conflict. So it would give a little bit of a different reading. So the fear, where the 7 in the Rider-Waite, 7 of Swords, is fearing as if someone would take something from them. The 7 of Athames in the Green Witch Tarot, I would say that this person's fear is trying something and failing. So it's a little different, The Knight of Cups, I would read the same way. This 5 of Wands, I would read the same way, having a difficulty in finding a compromise. This I would read the same way, the 6 of Chalices. Okay, so this card I would read a little differently because Judgment is the Harvest card in the Green Witch Tarot. And this position is position number 7, the feeling of inferiority. Here I would suggest that the person is afraid of success, where the other one is they're afraid sort of the judgment of others, feeling as if they're a child in an adult world. And you could still see it as the same thing. The fear of success, or the feeling that I cannot be successful, the feeling as if the expectations are too great and I can't reach them. It's the similar sense, but a little different. There's a little subtlety in the difference there, but still the overall message is the same. Card number 8, the world tree. The world I'd read the same way. The end result, the solution, I'd read the same way. This card I'd read the same way. This card I might read a little differently. The 10 of Athames. And that is in the position of number 10, which is the tolerance. This one I would read, the 10 of Athames in the Green Witch, I would read it more as they're intolerant of people who would sort of push other people out. People who are secluded, who isolate themselves, who sort of use anger as a deflection as opposed to a martyr. It would give a different read here. The 10 of Wands, the same, the 10 of Chalices, Strength, and the Crone. So this is the card number 8, position number 8, the Vision, where, I'm sorry, this isn't card number 8, this is the Willpower. Strength or the Crone. One I would say would be more physical strength, although it is strength in all aspects. The Crone is more wisdom, so it's knowledge in experience. So I might suggest here that the person has no willpower when it comes to their personal experiences. They tend to focus more on the practical aspect of what their abilities are, and they don't really pull from experience because they feel as if they don't have enough experience, they don't feel like they have wisdom. That would be the one difference that I would switch in this reading. So again, this is Removing the Obstacle, page number 25 in the Illustrated Tarot Spread book. I'd love to know if you did this spread and how it worked out for you. Until next time, I love you. Blessed be.